into detail why I believe that Michael Aquino isn't dead. And with that said, I know, Mikey, that you watch these videos, which makes it so much easier because now I can just talk to you in these videos. And before your group runs out and starts claiming apophenia, which is correlating things that don't have any correlation to each other, it given to us by some Klaus dude in 1958, the word apophenic is being used much like false memories was being used in the 80s and 90s. It's just a way to negate what's happening. And what I'm talking about, it's used so that they negate critical reasoning and pretty much cause and effect. I started thinking about this whole situation. First and foremost, with Michael Aquino, I don't believe he committed suicide twice. I don't believe he committed suicide twice. And the first time was unmistakable for me. I reported it because when he supposedly committed suicide 3 years before the second time, I got inundated with people from Temple of Set demanding that I apologize to Lilith, his wife. And of course, there's no fucking way I was going to do that. So the first time he supposedly committed suicide, that's what happened. Now, just recently, like in the last year, they're saying that he committed suicide again. And I laughed about it, but because I thought it was funny. You know, he committed suicide and then he resurrected himself just to end up committing suicide a second time 3 years later, just deciding he was right the first time. But what it shows is that it's bullshit. And I also take that in correlation to what I know about the Slime King. When the Slime King ingratiated himself into my life, the first thing he bragged about was that he was the one who did Michael Aquino's last radio interview. Not realizing, dude, you just blew it right out of the water, because of course I didn't trust him. Because Michael Aquino only hangs with a certain group of people. The dude is all big and bad when he has the upper hand hiding in the fucking shadows. But in the light, when you're knocking on his front door, he's a fucking old man coward. And he only lets people near him that are up his ass. That was the whole reason why I didn't go to the Washington, D.C. rally that Wolf dude bought me a plane ticket for. Not only bought me a plane ticket, but spent like $160, $170 more so that I could have the seat that had legroom, was flying me out to Washington, D.C. And there was a lot of stuff that was going on. But when he told me that he could guarantee me an audience with Michael Aquino, that was when I knew, no fucking way. But it was that whole experience. That's how I know that Titus Frost is a piece of shit working with them. You know, I know because he spoke at the rally and I know what was going on. And then, like I said, my publisher, because he was going to do a press release. So I made him work with my publisher because I couldn't give all the information and the press release couldn't come from me. And after I decided not to go and cancel the plane ticket, because I called and canceled the plane ticket, my publisher called me and said, please don't go. And I told her I'm not going, but why would you say that? And she told me none of the information he gave her was real. And so God only knows. I kind of know what I was going to go out, what I was ending up going out to. It failed, but that's the whole thing. So when the Slime King told me that he did the interview, I knew. But in the last year, the conversations have been strange, all on email, because the Slime King has gone out of his way to poo-poo Michael Aquino. In fact, saying that he's just a pathetic old man, basically. That was what the whole, and I couldn't understand why that was happening. But now I realize that he wasn't trying to poo-poo Michael Aquino. He's protecting Michael Aquino, who's fucking hiding. I know, Michael, that you were involved in so much more. I know that you were involved. When I was out in Washington and that Mountie person in Canada telling me that they had just busted two compounds of yours in British Columbia, and which was why all the fucking right feet were washing up on shore. But suddenly there were great big wildfires and everything got burned down. Funny how it works that way. You're big and bad, Michael, when you're in the shadows. But the funny thing about all of this to me, the most amusing thing about me, is that you all think that hiding in the fucking shadows is safe and is gonna protect you. But you, of all people, know what I was trained to do. The rituals that were going on in Hummel Park. And I do not believe that you're dead. If there was any cause for question, no one can commit suicide twice. That's just, but this whole apophia argument has been used against me because, again, they want to negate critical reasoning and cause and effect. And this has been big in my life. The protection order out in Washington. When I said that I was arguing and getting death threats from fucking Mesner, Dougie, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, not knowing that he was only 23 miles away from me living in Tacoma, and then that protection order that they tried to get me busted so that I either went to jail or in a fucking mental institution. But every one of those videos had absolutely nothing to do with the petitioners. Didn't say a word about that, but only and solely dealt with Doug Mesner, who lived 23 miles away from me in Tacoma. And I knew there was a whole coven thing up in Olympia, Washington, because I was dealing with all of them with fucking Ron Patton, And so they want to make it, no, none of that matters. None of that matters. It doesn't correlate. Gas station in Erlin. The official report says one explosion, the place filled with fumes, one explosion, leveled the place. But KETV says that there were two explosions. The owner of the gas station had been able to go out of the gas station, go back in the gas station, get his brother-in-law, get them both out before the second explosion, which was 9.5 minutes away apart. All the death threats that I was getting, the minute across the street, the Saturday before the Monday where the place blew up, the Donovan, my sheriff's deputy, the one they were using to go after me with the dogs who failed in court, ended up committing suicide a week and a half before that gas station explosion. None of it matters. It's all, I'm correlating things that have absolutely nothing to do with anything else. Nothing. And yet, this is all shit that's happened in my life, and I can prove all of it. So exactly where am I? All I am saying are the facts of the matter. That's the reason why I don't believe Michael Aquino is dead. I don't. Which it dawned on me this morning in the bathtub, because I didn't even realize all of this until I woke up this morning. My brain must have been processing all of this, but my dreams last night were just, that's how it works. And I woke up realizing the truth of the matter with all of this shit. And fucking, you wouldn't open the fucking door for me when I was at your front door in San Francisco. You fucking panicked upstairs because I could hear you and Lilith when I was standing there with Doug Millar and Spence. And I could hear you panicking upstairs. You're all big and bad when you're dealing with kids or you have the upper fucking hand. That's what all of you are like. But when you don't have the upper hand, when you're out in the fucking light, you fucking are cowards. You go hide. Or you fucking whine and bitch. That's what ends up happening. But, dude, let me just put it to you this way. Your problem is not the fucking peanut gallery. You can convince them of whatever the fuck you want to convince them of. Because they don't matter. Even if they did know, what the fuck would they do? Not a goddamn thing. That's historically. That has been shown over and over and over and over. It has happened over and over. So the peanut gallery, you can convince them. That's the funny part, because you have the Slime King and the Dead Isaac Cappy Club constantly trying to secure the narrative of the whole situation, to get the narrative, you know? And it goes way beyond that because it doesn't make any difference. The shit that you did to me as a kid, the shit that you opened up, you know? You were my master after all, if you'll remember right, you know? You are my master after all. Are you not? That's what I was told from you over and over and over as a child, you know? And yet, who the fuck is hiding in the dark? Who's pretending to be dead, you know? And not very effectively. The fact that you did it twice, you know? I don't understand the second time. I don't understand. That just happened. I don't understand why that happened, except that the darkness is fucking deluding you. But it's the stuff that you trained me to do. Remember, consciously, psychically, all the shit that you were involved with me as a kid. And the fact that you're actually, let me go back to what I wanted to say in the first place. I was pleasantly surprised in the end when I found out that my stepmother was still alive, because I really did feel a sense of loss because I was never able to play with her the way I like to play. And I would have really liked that opportunity. And running into her at the farmhouse cafe and realizing that she's still among the living, I was pleasantly surprised. Of course, I immediately did what I like to do. With all that with her and everything that I've gone through, none of it compares to the gratitude that I feel that you're still on this fucking side. We're going to find out who's the master, dude. And you trained me. So you know what the fuck I can do. So you better tone up whatever fucking magic spells, get into whatever fucking Merlin outfit you need to get into, sacrifice as many fucking kids as you can. But now that I realize that you're not gonna, I always took it that when I was told that my stepmother was dead, I couldn't feel her in the dark. So I just figured, okay, well, maybe I can't feel people in the dark, you know, and I always felt that way towards you because I couldn't feel you in the dark. That was the other thing that comes into play with all of this, because just like my stepmother, the reason I can't feel you in the fucking dark is because you're not there yet, which means you're on this side. And I'm able to return the shit that I need to return to you. Do you know how I know your little group is having problems? The government dude is gone. As quickly as he appeared, now he's gone. You know? And how I know that is because it was constantly pushed in my face. So I had to end up dealing with that. So when the absence occurred, it was impossible not to see, you know? And the air conditioner thing is gone, you know? I bet there's no trace. Funny how it works that way. But now, Mikey, I've been given something even better. Because now I realize that you are alive, and I didn't even realize it until this morning. Not fully. I had questioned and wondered, but I'd never really given it much thought. Never given it much thought. Even considering the fact that you're supposedly committed suicide twice. The stupidest thing I'd ever heard. You know? Dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. And the Slime King might be your replacement, but you haven't been replaced yet. Which means, if I look back at it, every fucking thing that has been going on has your signature on it in my life. With Doug and the Satanic Temple, and going after the book, and going after me, and going after me and Algona, and the whole fucking, all the shit that happened in Council Bluffs, and all of that. It's all been you hiding in the fucking dark like you always do. But being protected by national security ain't gonna do shit for you this time, dickhead. Not fucking shit. And it doesn't make any difference what dumbass thinks what. It doesn't make a fucking bit of difference. You know what's frustrating around here? These people haven't even read a book, let alone written one and gotten nominated for Book of the Year like I have. They haven't read a book. More than that, they haven't even read my book, but they have all kinds of opinions. Like it makes a fucking bit of difference. Their uneducated, ignorant ass opinions don't have an effect on anything. The fact that their own cognitive dissonance actually controls them. You know, they'll believe what they want to believe. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with the facts. Critical reasoning skills are developed by reading. You know, that's how it works. And whatever, it won't make any difference because the shit is, you all can feel it. And Aquino, you can feel it most of all. You're fucking hiding. You fucking instrumented your death twice, you know, because how else could that happen? You know, first you're dead and the temple is set, comes down on me. And then just what, a year ago, not even, now you're dead again? It defies logic. It is ridiculously stupid. And the fact that people don't even actually give it a second thought shows how ignorant they are. And ignorance is worse than stupidity because ignorance is a choice. It's a choice. Around here, you know, they're constantly trying to set me up. Constantly. When I say that they're trying to weaponize donations, trust me, over and over and over. Because if it's just like Algona, if they could have gotten me on that, they could have shut me up and then said whatever they wanted, and people are more than willing to just go along with it. It's happened to so many people over and over and over. What's different with me is all of this shit. That's what's different with me, is all of this. And I've done this for so long that it's hard to actually make it stick. And so they're doing everything they can to try and set me up, to shut me down. But maybe it's a coincidence that the government dude is gone. Maybe, you know, maybe. But with everything else that's happening, it is like a concerted effort on a group. No one could experience the shit that I have, without it being done to them. It's not like I'm the most unluckiest person in the fucking world. It doesn't work that way. That is a clear sign and is apophenia. That's a clear thing, is that when you don't have the critical reasoning skills to actually see the correlation of events. And the correlation of events is the shit that I've been trying to expose with my family, with the hurricanes hitting Florida. It is interesting. It's already prone to getting hit with hurricanes. But the fact that they're all going into the Gulf, being sucked up by that hot water and exploding and then hitting Florida. Let me just point out, in my life, both my oldest sister and my brother lived in Florida for years. I've always wondered if my brother Steven wasn't one of the finders dudes in Tallahassee when all that shit went down. Because I know my brother was involved. He was the photographer in Omaha, and they lived that suburb right on Panama City Beach. So it wasn't like they were that far away. I forget the name of that town, but it was, again, maybe it's apophenia. Maybe just because I know that my brother he was the photographer that Randy Nelson talked about in Franklin. He was the second photographer, looked a lot like Rusty Nelson, actually, and, but all of that nothing matters with anything else. Because what could also be argued when they argue that people who actually I'm correlating things that shouldn't be correlated. First of all, I'm almost 58 years old. You just don't come down with fucking schizophrenia at 58 years old, and schizophrenics are all over the place. I'm pretty focused in what I'm saying. I just keep saying the same shit over and over and over, by giving more and more examples. And just like false memory is bullshit, how many of you have ever had a false memory? Any of you? Have you ever had a false memory? Any of you? Any of you? Just victims of abuse. And how that comes out is the abusers said that they had false memories. See how that works? It's the same thing with this apophenia. And they've used that word on me before. That's how I know that's because I looked into it actually this morning. Because I remembered the word when I woke up this morning, and it was just like, what does that word mean? It came out in 1958 from some Klaus dude. Funny enough, when all the shit that they were involved with FK Ultra was coming out. So it was another way to just dismiss people and the shit that was going on, because these motherfuckers love to hide in the fucking dark. That's what they like to do. They like to hide in the motherfucking dark. They like to do nasty shit in the dark, thinking that the dark protects them. But I know you watch these videos, fucking Michael. I know you do. Now that I realize that you're still with us and among the living, I know you fucking watch my videos. Because you know me and what I was trained to do better than anybody. That's what's cool about having you, because now I can talk about it. Because the consciousness and the focus is everything. And just because you and your little group have tried things over and over and over and failed repeatedly over and over and over, you still put action to your intent. And you know what that means as much as I do. You're the one who fucking trained me as a kid. You know? It all matters. And the very dark you like to fucking hide in is about ready to claim your stupid asses. That's what's so amusing about the whole situation to me, is that you're about to be claimed by the very thing you think protects you. Just fucking dumbasses. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. No one is coming to save you, and you can't save yourselves. And what is about ready to claim you is part of your own group's fucking making. Especially you, Mikey. Especially you. All of the rituals that were done to me, you'll understand this because you were the one who taught me about mirror magic. What was important is that in the end, I had to accept. All of the shit that you cast on me, I had to accept. I condemned myself to the fucking dark so I could claim all of you motherfuckers. That is my sacrifice. That was my sacrifice. Mirror magic. What's on this side has to be on the other. You have already lost because I did the one thing not one of your fucking groups could even conceptualize in their fucking heads. And that's willing to offer myself, which is what I did from the very beginning. This life and the next. That's what I offered in all of this. For the darkness to fucking claim you dickheads. And you get to fucking go through all of the shit that you were so eager to push on everyone else. It was so much fun. So let you experience it the next time around. I gave everything for this. And now I'm watching it all come to pass. And there ain't a fucking thing you can do. Go ahead, go after me. Go after me. Weaponize any fucking shit you want to weaponize, you know? But I also know that your rituals don't fucking have. Not only do your rituals not work, but now you're afraid you're going to get busted for them because they're not protected either, you know? And I probably wouldn't have come to that conclusion, but why the fuck else would you have told everyone that you fucking committed suicide a second time 3 years later? Obviously something fucked up is happening, you know? Obviously something fucked up is happening. And I know exactly what it is. And it won't make any difference what the fuck you convince the peanut gallery, because you want to know what? Most of them are about ready to be fucking claimed too. The road to the new garden is narrow. And most people think that Jesus Christ came with a fucking blank check for everybody. Do whatever the fuck you want. Jesus Christ died for our sins. We can do whatever the fuck. We can live however we want. And in the end, we'll just say we're sorry, you know? And people believe that. People believe that, even though that's never been the case. We will be obedient to the word and do what we're fucking told, or there are dire consequences. We were told that. Nothing's changed. But your group has fucking perverted everything. The Slime King was protecting you, which had to fucking kill you, the shit that he was saying in those emails. Because he knew those emails were going to everybody, you know? But all of the shit is coming down. It's all coming down. And you're not on sure-footed. Otherwise, your government dude would still be here. But bye-bye. and nobody dances around in front of me anymore. You know, funny how that works. Who's controlling whose behavior? You know? The dark is going to fucking claim your dumbass. But I am glad you are still on this side and in the land of the fucking living, dude. Because I've already sent you all kinds of fun shit. You know? Like Dougie. He should put on his horn hat and pour milk all over the gay people, as many gay people as he can. Pull out his dick and balls and lay him on every graveyard he possibly can. It ain't gonna fucking help him. It ain't gonna save him. And the fun part about all of this shit is that all of you, there's a group of you who have gone out of your way to bind yourselves to me personally. All of your, and that's what your nasty shit has done. All of your fucking nasty shit bound yourself to the dark because it doesn't bind it to me. I just give it to the dark. And you've bound yourselves to the dark. And the fun part about it is that those who have played with me directly get a little extra pizzazz when they're on the other side. Because I add that pizzazz. That's the reason why Dougie offered me any amount of money I wanted in order to stop. Not only is this not going to stop, this isn't even the beginning. It's not even the beginning, because death is coming. People can say whatever the fuck they want. All those people that hit by that hurricane last time, now they're not so fucking convinced that they're going to be able to make it through, you know? Because if this was being written in olden times, this shit would be considered biblical. All of this weather would be considered biblical in nature. All of the shit that was happening would happen, it would be considered biblical. And it is biblical in nature. We will do what we are told to do, fill our hearts with love, and find compassion, or we will be claimed by the dark. That's how it's going to work. It's the same shit. And Michael Aquino, I am so pleased that you are still with us. You know, I don't feel so gypped anymore. And you and I've come home, master. That's all I can say, you know? Someone that I trusted who I believe is involved with this whole drug shit in town once told me that your group wasn't trying to kill me, they were experimenting. You're all experimenting on me. That's what it is. You're not trying to kill me. And I've had to think about that of late, because especially taking out Owen, all of the safeguards that I had that prevented me from really focusing on fucking your side up are gone. And you've isolated me and just won't stop attacking, and it's just kept me in a constant state of irritation. And it sucks, you know? But I can't wait to find out what happens to you, Mikey. I can't wait to find out what happens to you. And I'll find out, because it will come back to me. I will find out what ends up happening from what I cast. But have no fucking doubt. The very shit that you taught me how to do, I've gotten really good at it. And I cannot say it enough. Not only am I not the fucking Jesus Christ, I am the antithesis. Because like your group, my whole aspect on all of this is fuck turning the other cheek. Because by the time your group is done, there's no flesh left. Fuck turning the other cheek. You thought your shit was cool and you wanted to play. So, you know, and I am so glad you're with this. And I don't give a shit what anybody fucking thinks. Don't give a shit what anybody it won't make any difference. Their ignorant ass opinions. That's what's so great about living out here. Because people will have told me, well, I only read 2 chapters of your book, but yet they know everything. You know, they know everything enough to make enough of a decision that, you know, what I'm saying can be completely disregarded. And that's fine. I'm not here to convince anybody. Some who have eyes will see and ears who will hear. And the rest, fuck them. Why argue? You know? Why argue? They're going to tell themselves whatever the fuck they want to tell themselves in order for them to feel better about their stupid shit. That's how it works. That's human nature. And if you don't work against it, you're controlled by it. But I'm not going to keep this live long. I have shit I have to get done during the day. I just wanted you to know, Michael Aquino, that I know you're not fucking dead. And no one commits suicide twice. And the fact that you supposedly committed suicide twice should give everyone question of whether or not you're even fucking dead. Because this is the same shit you always play. It's always a goddamn game. I just don't think that you feel so protected by national security anymore. Because others have started to make the question of what does fucking hurting children have to do with national fucking security? That's always been my question. You know, I've never gotten an adequate answer. But on the playing field that you now find yourself, which you should not be surprised because you are the one I'm talking about when I say that Frankenstein always loses control of the monster and the monster always comes back to fuck his master's shit up. You know, that's how it works. And I don't even have to leave the confines of my home, you know, because it's all consciousness inside and focus, just like you taught me. I'm very, very proficient at it. And your side is already lost. You're the spoils of war, dickhead. That's why the darkness is here to claim you. The very darkness that you think you're safe in, hiding in. The very darkness. The very dark you all serve. Because with all of your stupid, nasty shit, you're proud of being involved in the dark. It makes you feel powerful. Your whole group is like that. That's the reason why you're all about ready to be claimed. It was pretty easy, Aquino. I grew up with your stupid dickhead asshole selves, you know? And you tortured me so that I knew your shit. It's not like it was hard to focus on it and know where I was looking. And as you taught me, the devil is in the details, you know? And you can argue apophy all you want. It's always something, you know? That protection order, all dealing with Doug Mesner. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, had nothing to do with anything else. This gas station and all the stuff around it has nothing to do with anything else. All the shit that I have been saying has nothing to do with anything else, you know? And I just find it interesting in town that I volunteered at places for years. For years. Never once was there an issue until after that gas station explosion, and I ended up moving to Harlan. And then it's just been one after the other after the other. Right after signing paperwork for a job with one, was working for one, you know, volunteered for another. It's funny how it works. So I guess it's just aprophia to think that maybe that could all be connected somehow to the drug operation that everybody knows about in town. But nothing has anything to do with anything else. No one is connected to anything, you know? Everything that happens with this drug, and the only reason I know what was going on in town is because people told me about it repeatedly. It's like everyone knows. It's an open secret out here. I don't know by my own fucking personal experience. That's how I know it exists. And I know it's probably being looked at. I know that stuff is falling apart. You know, as quickly as the government dude was there, now he's gone. You know, it's just maybe it's not connected to anything else, but it sure is interesting. The coincidence of the timing, which is true for all of this. The timing is really, really statistically, how could all of it be a coincidence? What would be the statistical calculation of that being able to be possible? You know, I guess if you live in a fanciful world where anything exists, you can tell yourself whatever you want, you know? I'm just pointing out the facts of the matter while people are trying to say that I'm schizophrenic in town because they don't like what I'm saying. Everything else about me is fine. It's just this aspect. That's how what I used to tell Owen is that, dude, you come to me for advice all the time. You think I am like really intelligent and all of that. Yet when it comes to my past, that's the one aspect you think I'm fucking crazy at. But how can you just be crazy in one aspect that people don't like, but totally fine in all the others? So much so that they'll put you to work, you know? How is that even possible? But what they don't like, they deem crazy. And so therefore, you know, and it's all shit. I have a blog since 2011, published a book in 2012, been going on about the same shit over and over and over. People just don't like the fact that I'm going through it. But I took the fucking sign out of my yard. That has to count for something, you know? I was tired of looking at it. And again, only a fool tries to convince ignorant people of anything. Ignorance is a choice. Aquino is alive. Nobody is able to commit suicide twice in a 3-year time span. It doesn't work. The shit that's going on with the Dead Isaac Cappy Club. Isaac Cappy needs to be investigated because all the people that were connected, he was connected to, in my estimation, are all involved with the same kind of shit that just got busted a year ago last September in New York City when the FBI busted a satanic Nazi global pedophile ring. So, but it's just aprophia. Nothing is connected to anything else. You know? If that makes you feel okay, go fuck yourself. You know? Because it's not. Again, stick your head in the sand. It automatically puts your ass in the air. And then when the inevitable happens, go bitch to someone who fucking cares, because you didn't care when you were given the chance. That's how I feel about this whole situation. But Aquino ain't dead. You know, that's the reason why the Slime King says what he says about Aquino. You know, that's the reason why there's been all of this whole push. And it never dawned on me because I've been so focused on Doug, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, and all that group, and then the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, and the Slime King, and all of that. Never once, because I'm often not the sharpest tool in the shed. I need it pointed out to me. It never fucking occurred to me that Michael Aquino was behind almost every part of it. Every part of it. Like always. Like always. But hiding in the fucking dark, as always. Wouldn't answer your fucking door when I was banging on it with Doug Millar and Spence above Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Couldn't answer the fucking door when I was an adult and you didn't have the upper hand. But in the fucking dark, and that's the same for all of you. That's the reason why it's so funny. Because in the goddamn dark, where you feel the safest, is the last place you want to fucking be in the end. And it's just funny. Because no matter how I tell you people, you don't fucking listen worth a shit. Because you all know more. The Slime King knows more. Every member of the Dead Isaac Cappy Club knows more. Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, who's been helping them all along, knows more. His little captain, who I guess, according to the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, is my new handler, much like Ryan Miller was out in the Algona police station, how they knew that all those videos had nothing to do with the petitioners, but only and solely dealt with Doug Millar. Or not Doug Millar, but Doug Mesner. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. All of the shit. And, but again, none of it is connected to anything else. You know? It's all just, it lives in a vacuum. You know? There is no cause and effect. There is no cause and effect. Believe them. They'll tell you over and over and over. You know? But if you believe it, it's because you choose to believe it and you choose to be ignorant. And you think that you will not be held accountable for it, and you will be held accountable for it. And people are going to end up going crazy. I know I'm reading the conversation in there, but all these things that we're hearing about people going crazy, what the fuck do you think the radiation that we're being inundated with by the sun? Because we just got hit with another X-flare. It's several times a week now. And there's no magnetic field to protect us. What do you think all that gamma radiation is having? It's, if you are inclined to the dark, to hate, to ugly shit, it's going to draw it out in you. That's what's happening. Everything is coming out into the light. It can't be hidden anymore. It can't be hidden anymore. If you're a dark motherfucker, all your shit's coming out. And the gamma radiation that we're getting hit on a continuous basis by the sun is having a direct effect on all of this. It's having a direct effect. But again, nothing has anything to do with anything else. You know, the only thing that's happening with all of these X-flares and coronal mass injections is that it's causing pretty lights in the sky. Just focus on that. Nothing else has anything to do with anything else. You know? Learn to fucking discern. Figure out some critical reasoning skills. And if you don't have the first fucking clue what you're talking about, shut your fucking mouth. Because you're not helping in the whole situation. And ignorance doesn't trump the truth. It doesn't. You know? And to tell yourself that it does is delusional. Flat out. Flat out. There are many things in this world that are directly caused by cause and effect. It's a matter of physics. Cause and effect. Look it the fuck up. nothing lives in a vacuum. And they can use pretty words like aprophia, but then again, I ask you the same question. How many of you have suffered in the past from false fucking memories? How many people remember things that never happened? How many of you? I would be willing to bet if you're rational, most of you will say none of you, because it's not even a thing. And the Dead Isaac Cappy Club and Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, can use fancy words all they want, like aprophia, but it means nothing. It's just a fucking bullshit concept to victim blame and discredit victims. I may not have helped one motherfucking child, but I know for a fact that adults who have experienced this have been helped immeasurably by the shit that I've done. Because I get told that all the time. And I don't do it for the praise. I'm glad it happens. I'm just pointing out the fact that I have been told over and over and over. Many people lack empathy. Judgmental people in Asheville, I don't know. Milton is going to hit Florida. And it's going to just keep happening over and over and over again. This shit is biblical. And the problem with Milton is all the shit that's laying about from the last hurricane, all that gets to be fucking in the air now. It's even more dangerous than it was before. It's biblical in nature, and yet people are actually, yes, the people who are behind the False Memory Syndrome Foundation are the same group that's involved, because that was all CIA, that was all Michael Aquino. The False Memory Syndrome Foundation, let me just explain the history of that, was all a group of parents who were rich, and all of them were white, and they were being accused by their children of being ritually abused. And so they came out with all of this satanic panic and false memory. That's the words that came from this group. That's where we have the words satanic panic and false memory. Except for the one dude, I have his thing, Underwood, Ralph Underwood. He was a member of the False Memory Syndrome Foundation, and he went on Patica, a magazine, Patica in the UK, and went on and on and on about how great it is for children to be fucked by adults, how it prepares them for childhood, and how we're preparing children by having sex with them. That's what was going on. And he was a member of the False Memory Syndrome Foundation, which, by the way, was determined not to be a syndrome at all. It's not even a fucking thing. Ellen Lachter, who is behind all of this shit, would have lost her license had she done it now. And her shit is bullshit. So much so that Washington State ran her out. She lives in Oregon, or did live in Oregon, but Washington State ran her out because her research is bogus. And yet everyone runs around spouting the words satanic panic and false memory. And it's all bullshit. And it's all because of what was happening in McMartin and all of the shit that was happening in the 80s. Again, that happened in the United States and Australia and the UK, all at the same time, even though there was no internet. So how did all of these victims, how were they all able to say the same stories, the same types of abuse, the same shit that was going on? If they couldn't share stories, how did that happen? Was it just something in the air? The whole 3 continents got mass hysteria at the exact same time without the internet. Really? You know, again, they want you to shut down your critical reasoning skills and take on things that are on its face are so fucking stupid that if you watched it in a movie, you would actually lose interest because it was fucking bullshit, you know? And yet in real life, we lead this fucking reality television bullshit, you know? And we wonder why we are where we are as a society. I'm not talking the whole political shit. I'm talking each one of us as individuals, as a society, because that's what makes it up. And it's happening all around the world. Yeah, they're trying to eliminate the age of consent. They did the same thing in the 80s with the False Memory Foundation. If you look back, they were trying to break the age of consent, not only for sex, but for work. They want to get rid of all of it, you know? They're also trying to claim that pedophilia is a sexual orientation, you know? I guess being a murderer would be is something too. If you just can't help it, we just have to accept it. You know, that's how it fucking works. But anybody who has a dissenting opinion about the facts of the matter, then they'll say, "Oh no, he's suffering from aprophia." You know, "Oh no, aprophia." I'm just correlating things with common sense that in the past would have been correlated. But now we live in a fucking fantasy world where whatever fucking we want to exist, you know, exists. And it doesn't. It doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the facts of the matter. But I'm not going to stay on here. But now this is about an hour. I'm at 57 minutes and 28 seconds. And have fun, fucking Mikey. Have fun. Mesnu doesn't seem to like it. Everyone that I focus on doesn't seem to like it in the end. They all start with these fucking stupid ass grins on their face, jumping around like fucking Rumpelstiltskin, but it never ends that way. And you, of all people, know exactly what you trained me how to do. And so if you if you're experimenting on me and that's how this fucking works, and I do think that the person knew what they were saying, you know, because I do think that they're involved in a way, at least with my fucking sheriff. And so let me give you a goddamn demonstration. How's that? Let me give you a demonstration. And it won't make a fucking bit of difference what the peanut gallery believes. When what I've gifted you comes to your door and enters your home, you'll find out. It won't make any difference who believes what. In your fucking mind, there'll be no goddamn doubt. So have fun with that, Mikey.